Hello, my friends, and welcome to the second act of Imagine if Flash Thompson became Spider-Man in 2004. If you recall from last time, Dr. Otto Octavius' experiment created a disaster, leading to Peter being at the hospital and Otto Octavius' wife getting killed. What would happen next after this terrible disaster? Let us find out. Flash was in the city as Spider-Man, looking at the entire city of New York. Thinking about Peter, MJ, Harry, Dr. Otto Octavius' wife, and Octavius himself, he asked himself what people would see as him now, a failure to save someone's life and possibly losing his closest friend that he hasn't talked to in a while. This made Flash become depressed. Flash wanted to take a break from his role as Spider-Man, but he knew the city won't be safe without him, even for a whole day. Spider-Man sees police cars go by, and he follows the police to see what the next conflict was. At the Osborn residence, Harry starts drinking in the living room, thinking of what he has done to his friends Peter and MJ. Because of his actions of bringing in Peter and MJ to see the experiment with Octavius, Peter might not survive. Harry started to think about Spider-Man, how he was able to protect him and MJ, but not Peter or Octavius' dead wife, Rosalie. Harry started to curse and get mad, making him throw the glass cup to the ground, shattering it. He wanted his revenge on Spider-Man for Peter, but he didn't know how to do it. He then started to remember the night when Peter told him his father was the Green Goblin. Harry remembered Peter telling him that Spider-Man was fighting against Green Goblin at Flash's place. Harry started to get curious and also confused. Why would the fight occur at Flash's place? What does Flash have to do with this situation? Harry started to doubt himself, calling himself crazy. When Harry was about to get some more drinks, Harry felt a cold chill down his spine, and also heard evil laughs throughout the house. Harry asked who was there, and then he heard a loud laugh where the mirror was out, and Harry looked at the mirror, seeing his father, Norman Osborn, in the reflection of the mirror. Norman tells Harry that he knows what to do about Spider-Man and Flash Thompson. Harry tells Norman that he doesn't know what he's talking about because he is dead. Norman tells Harry that Flash injured him badly back at the graduation. He could have killed him. Harry starts to remember that day at the graduation when he and Flash got into a fight. This made Harry have bitterness in his heart about Flash. Norman tells Harry that he should avenge him because Flash helped Spider-Man kill him when he was trying to protect him. Harry hears this in complete shock, making Harry fall back to the table, asking his father how Flash could even do this. Norman tells Harry that he went to Flash to reason with him, but Flash betrayed him. With Flash betraying him, he called his friend Spider-Man, killing him in cold blood. Norman then told Harry to go after Flash first, so that Spider-Man will not get the help he needs. After Flash is taken care of, he should go after Spider-Man. Harry slowly walked to the mirror his father was in, telling his father that he will do this for him and for everyone else Spider-Man has done to his friends today at the experimentation. Harry can't think of anything else except for getting his revenge on not seeing the full picture because of the lies of his own father. Spider-Man arrives at a scene, seeing a lot of destruction around him. Up ahead, he sees a giant man in a Rhino-looking suit, causing damage to everything that was near him. The police try to stop him, but Rhino went by very easily. Rhino picked up two of the officers and threw them away, and Spider-Man quickly swung in and webbed the officers to web to save them both from getting injured. Rhino sees Spider-Man and tells Spider-Man that he should mess with someone else that is his own size. Spider-Man tells him that his stampede is over. Rhino charges at Spiderman, and Spiderman quickly jumps out of the way and lands on the side of a building. Spiderman quickly tries to shoot webs at Rhino, but nothing comes out. Spiderman tried and tried again, still nothing. Spiderman doesn't know what is going on, and before he could even see what was happening in front of him, Rhino threw a fragment of the road that was broken. Spiderman saw it with his eyes, dodging it in time. Spider-Man's webs were able to come out, and Spider-Man swung straight towards Rhino. While Spider-Man was springing towards Rhino, Rhino charged at Spider-Man again. Spider-Man aimed his wrist right at Rhino's running legs, shooting at Rhino's legs. The webs wrapped around Rhino's legs, making Rhino fall to the ground. Spider-Man quickly webbed a fire hydrant, pulling it out of the ground, and smashed it across Rhino's face, making Rhino fall to the ground, stunned. Spider-Man lands on the ground and webs Rhino up, which ends in Rhino being defeated. The police slowly circled around Rhino, pointing their weapons at Rhino, thanking Spider-Man for the help. Spider-Man tells the police that he is glad to help and tells them to make sure Rhino is locked up for good. Spider-Man swings away back into the city and heads over to the hospital to see how Peter was doing. In the secret lair of the Green Goblin, Harry comes out of a little room with the Green Goblin serum in his bloodstream. Harry made himself his own Green Goblin suit and glider, saying that Flash and Spider-Man are going to pay. At Dr. Otto Octavius' place, Otto returned from seeing Rosalia's body being taken away. Otto was staring at his own machine that was no more. Octavius asked himself what he was supposed to do now. His life's work was down the drain, and all he had that works is these arms. Earlier, the inhibitor chip was never destroyed by the machine because Doc Ock of checking to see if his wife was still alive. Because of the inhibitor chip never being destroyed, the robotic arms would never tempt Octavius to rebuild the machine. While Octavius was in deep thought, Octavius heard a whooshing jet noise outside of his place. He hears his door open and close. Octavius turns around and looks around to see who was around, finding no one with him. Octavius asks out loud who was there, and then Harry comes out of the shadows, showing himself to Octavius. Octavius sees Harry in surprise and asks Harry what he was doing here. Harry tells Octavius that he needs his help to take revenge on someone he knew at school and on Spider-Man. Octavius asks Harry what he means by revenge, and Harry tells Octavius everything that has happened with Flash working with Spider-Man, killing his father. When Octavius first heard this, he thought Spider-Man was innocent, but when Octavius learned of the death of Harry's father, he was shocked. He didn't know Spider-Man was a backstabber. Octavius asks Harry why he wants him, and Harry tells Octavius that one can't defeat Spider-Man, but if there's more attacking him at once, Spider-Man won't stand a chance. Harry asked Octavius if he was in or out. Octavius looked down, thinking about his wife, Rosalie. He asked himself, wouldn't Rosalie want him to make New York safe again if Spider-Man truly is a villain? Octavius looked at Harry with a smile, saying Spider-Man shall pay for his crimes. Flash arrives at the hospital as himself, walking to the room MJ and Peter were in. When Flash entered the room, he saw MJ on the side of the hospital bed, holding Peter's hand as he was resting. Flash sees Peter's chest, arms, and legs completely bandaged, along with part of his face covered. Flash walks over to the bed, and MJ sees him, not saying anything. Flash asks MJ if he'll make it, and MJ says that he will. Flash looks at Peter, having flashbacks of the experiment going wrong. Flash tells MJ that he is very sorry for this. This was all his fault. He wished he had enough time to prevent Peter from getting hurt and Rosalie from getting killed. MJ starts to cry, saying that there was no other way out of it, and it is not his fault. MJ was able to calm down and stop crying a few moments later. There was silence in the room for a little bit. Flash said while taking a seat next to MJ that he is at least glad to see them again. MJ held Flash's hand, saying that she is glad to see him again too, and she is thankful that he came to visit Peter. At Peter's house, Aunt May was getting ready to visit Peter at the hospital. While getting ready, the spider that bit Flash and survived, the spider that was hiding around the house ever since first arriving at the house, made its way to Aunt May's purse. Right when the spider got into Aunt May's purse, Aunt May was all ready, got her purse, and walked out the door. At the prison Shocker and Rhino were at, the prison was being attacked by Harry and Octavius, who is now known in society as Doc Ock. Doc Ock made his way to the control room that had the doors to every cell that villains or criminals were in. When the power went out, all the cells were opened, including Shocker's cell and Rhino's cell. Shocker got out of his cell and started to fire everywhere, damaging a lot in the prison. Rhino also got out of his cell and joined Shocker into destroying everything to have their payback on those that locked them in. Doc Ock went to where Shocker and Rhino were and asked them by their names if they wanted revenge on Spider-Man. They said yes. Harry arrives in the room, seeing the two new recruits and Doc Ock. Harry says that this will do, and now they'll go after Flash Thompson, kill him, and then go to Oscorp to make Spider-Man come after them. The four all agreed to it, and they all went to the hospital, because Harry knew Flash would be there with MJ and Peter. In the hospital, Flash, MJ, and Aunt May all talked together. Peter was able to wake up and talk with them again, saying that he is glad to see Flash again. While the joyful reunion was going on, Flash's spider sense went off. Flash knows something is wrong. Suddenly, the room started to shake here and there. They all became very cautious. When there was silence in the room for just a few moments, the wall of the room was torn open and Doc Ock entered the room, giving his greetings. The door behind Flash and the others was knocked down, and Rhino and Shocker came in. Harry came in last, hovering to Flash very slowly, telling Flash that he is finally avenging his father. Harry's masks opened up and his face was shown to everyone. Flash was shocked, but he knew Harry was not himself. MJ and Aunt May was next to Peter, scared and frightened of what was happening. Peter asked Harry what he was doing with Doc Ock, Shocker, and Rhino. Harry tells Peter that because of Flash hurting him at the graduation, he helped Spider-Man kill his father just to try and hurt him more. MJ tells Harry that he has it all wrong. She and Peter were there when it happened. They saw what truly happened, which is Norman Osborn being the Green Goblin, and killed himself when fighting Spider-Man. Harry wanted to know what she meant by this and asked Flash if he turned MJ and Peter against him. Flash tells Harry that he's got this all wrong. He didn't want to kill his father. His father tried to kill him. Harry gave Doc Ock the signal, and Doc Ock quickly commanded one of his arms to grab Flash by the throat. During this, the spider got out of Aunt May's purse and crawled its way all the way to Peter's hand. Peter was not paying attention. He only paid attention to what was happening to Flash. Doc Ock threw Flash to Harry, and Flash screamed, punching Flash to the wall, knocking Flash out. At that moment, the spider bit Peter in the hand, which made Peter notice and smack the spider off, making the Spider-Man officially die for sure. Harry looks over at Peter, MJ, and Aunt May. Harry tells Doc Ock that the only way for Spider-Man to come to them for sure was to have hostages. Doc Ock commanded his arms to get MJ as the first hostage and Aunt May as the second hostage. Harry said to Peter before he left with the others that this was the only way to be free from the lies. The only ones that were in the room were Peter and Flash. Peter knew he had to help Flash no matter what to keep that spark of hope going, to save the city of New York from what was happening. This is how the second part of Part 2 would end. What do you think will happen at the end of the second part of the trilogy? Be prepared to see the finality of Part 2. Until that time comes, my friends, farewell.